All right, so welcome back to the channel, you guys. My name is Charlie. Basically, in this video, I want to talk about how you guys can increase your business profit margins. This is a video that I'm very excited to make because it's something that, how do I say this? I'm very passionate about optimization, and like logic and stuff like that. So whenever I talk to business owners, like one of the immediate things that I tend to think about is, dang, how can this person actually, take home more money or make their business run more efficiently? What systems can we install in the business to just make it better? And the truth is, there are so many different things you guys can do. So, yeah, we'll cover everything that's I personally do in my high profit margin businesses, and what you guys can do as well. So, just a little bit of background. I have two main businesses right now. One is a media company that runs a bunch of YouTube channels. We have very high profit margins. I don't know the exact number right now. Depends what you count as a cost and what you don't, but 70+% profit margins, right? And we do multiple seven figures per year. The other business is an overseas recruiting company called Paired. I don't know the profit margin on that business, but it's also very solid. And so essentially, like I said before, I am very all about optimization. And so for this video, I want to separate it into two different parts, right? One's going to be money in. So how can we affect the money in? Or more specifically, how do we make more money, right? Because that's obviously a big part of the equation when it comes to profit margins. And then also money out. This obviously is a bit more, I'm going to say this. I'm going to spend more time on money out because there's a lot more stuff you can do. There's fewer things you can do to bring money in. It's usually like pretty simple concepts, but of course that's also very important because if you can make more money in your business while keeping your fulfillment costs or whatever cost of operating the same, then you instantly increase your profit margins, right? But you're obviously the expert in whatever business type or industry you're in. So I'm not gonna say too much there, but for money out, there's a lot of different tweaks and things you guys can do, and we'll for sure talk about those. Okay, so the whole goal basically, right, is increase the money in and then decrease the money out at the same time, or at least having the expenditures grow slower than the money coming in, because that would mean a positive delta on the ROI. Okay, so let's talk about money in first. Let me erase this. All right. So obviously, like I said, you guys know your industry better than I do. But there's some fundamental things when it comes to how you can like basically immediately start to make more money, right? The first thing you guys should probably consider doing is to just charge more money. So charge more. And of course, that's easier said than done. But I see a lot of business owners that undercharge for their service, right? They have this like sort of limited belief in what they're offering. They might think, oh, there's other people out there that do something similar for less, or maybe they just don't have as much conviction in what they're doing as they should, right? If you're in business, you should have a really solid product. And when someone buys your product or service, they should get a high ROI. So there should be a lot of like this inherent value in your business. And the immediate thing you guys probably should be doing is just charging more, right? Charging more gets you better clients. It removes a lot of the like very, very price sensitive clients. And a lot of those times, those people have more complaints. They might have more issues. They're going to expect a lot for what they're spending. The best clients are the guys where they're spending, let's say for a service, they're spending 0.1% of their income, right, on that service. So it literally doesn't matter. They don't care about nickel and diming you. And you can still charge more while being able to provide a service or product that gives like positive value to the person. You also want to for sure make sure you're leveraging the internet, Make sure you're leveraging AI. So internet. This gives you a ton of leverage. I'm not really going to talk about this too much. And then of course, there's probably other products you can sell within your business. Of course, you don't want to like diversify too much. Keep your main thing, at least for now. But software, like there's fundamentally some industries that make a lot more money than others for good reason, right? Software, SaaS, digital products. What else? Yeah, we'll keep it like those for now. But you guys know you should just always be trying to increase your revenue. And here are some easy ways to do that. So now let's talk about money out. So expenditures, money out. Okay. So the first one we should probably talk about is retention. Actually, okay, so let's talk about client acquisition costs, right? A lot of you guys watching this video might have a service-based business where you work with clients, and to acquire clients, you probably need to pay some type of money or whatever, right? So there's a cost to acquire a new client, and let's say it's $1,000. Obviously, we want to lower this, right? So we want this to go down, and there are different ways we can do this. First is retention marketing. So of course, every business is different, but emails are a great way to retain your current clients. If you sell a product, right, you should be for sure hitting them with emails very, very regularly. Once you acquire a customer for, let's say, e-commerce, essentially the cost is already set, right? Like you already paid that cost, and any other purchases they make in the future, it's essentially zero dollars. To like, it doesn't cost you any money to get that client again because they already know you. And so it's basically 100% gross margin minus your fulfillment costs. Repeat buyers also spend 67% more per order in year 2 versus year 1. So it's very like, if you can get returning customers, that's going to be absolutely massive for lowering this, right? And this can be quite high. I know for some companies, like service-based companies, client acquisition costs can be in the thousands of dollars per client, like $5,000, $10,000. It's pretty insane. So this is a great way to actually reduce your expenditures, right? Think about the people that you have already marketed and gotten, right? You already got them. You just need to retain them. And retaining them is definitely a lot easier than finding a new client or customer. They're also way more likely to refer, and referral business, you guys, is absolutely massive. At Paired, we have a lot of returning clients, right? Like the average client comes back to us within like 1 or 2 months, hires another person, and then keeps hiring, right? I don't know the exact number on the total hires the average client does, but it's definitely in the multiple. Those people are also a lot more likely to refer their friends. And referral business is huge for us. To get referral business, of course, you need a good service or a good product. But yeah, referral, $0, right? Zero cost. And likely a referral is going to be a way better client than someone that's completely cold. Way, way, way better client. Okay, so let's talk about, what else can we talk about? Acquisition costs. Okay, let's talk about, speaking of Paired, let's talk about overseas talent. If you've seen any of my content, you know that I'm a huge proponent of overseas talent. I think it's like one of the easiest things you guys can be doing to build your team and drastically reducing your payroll costs. For most of you, payroll's probably a large percentage of your expenditures of the money going out. And so there is so much we can optimize here. But like the main concept, you guys, is get an overseas team. Find people in other countries. So let me write down some of my favorite. Indonesia. Indonesia is the new Philippines. It is my experience a lot better than hiring in the Philippines. It's also a bit cheaper. What else do we have? LATAM. So LATAM stands for Latin America. So we have like Mexico, Argentina, Brazil, stuff like that. Great if you want someone that's in the same time zone as you, because a lot of these countries, it's very similar to US time zones, right? Argentina is basically New York time zone. And then you have Mexico, which is basically, or same thing as like California time zone. So it spans PST to CST to EST quite well. Indonesia, of course, quite different. But I'm a big proponent of working async. So async teams, right, where a lot of the comms, coordination, all that stuff happens within Slack, not in like meetings throughout the day. I prefer to do that. I hate meetings. And async has worked really well for my businesses. Of course, we still do calls, but they are they're definitely fewer of them than most companies. What other countries? So South Africa. And so, yeah, if you think about a lot of your team, like there's some roles that I don't think should be hired in the US anymore. Video editor, any type of like creative. A lot of these tasks can be outsourced to really amazing overseas talent that cost like 80% less, and actually like 80% less. And the best thing is the wage they get, that's 80% less for you. They're making more compared to their peers than that person in the US of what you're paying them. So they're balling out. You're also saving a lot of money. It's essentially a huge win. Especially with AI these days, like English used to be somewhat of a barrier, but your overseas talent, they have access to ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, all these things. And so their English, for when it comes to like output, it can be basically the same as someone in America. It's absolutely insane. It blows my mind that a lot of people are still not hiring overseas, because it is one of the easiest things you guys can do. What else can we talk about overseas talent? Yeah, I think you guys for sure should do an audit on your team. Does this person need to be in the US? If they don't, you can consider replacing them. Sorry for the US folk. But same thing with expansion, right? If you're trying to expand your team, this might be a better starting point for some of you guys because you don't need to fire anyone. When you expand, you don't need to only look in the US. There is zero chance that the best person for your job is in the US, and they're more expensive, and you need to pay 401k, unemployment, like all that stuff. Super, super annoying, right? Overseas talent, they're all contractors. There's none of that crazy stuff. They won't sue you, blah, blah, blah. So I'm a huge proponent of this. We'll do a free audit for you if you guys want with Paired. I'll have a link down below. Use us or don't use us. But whatever you do, like you should start to incorporate overseas talent into your team. I have so many different case studies and things I could talk about that I'm not going to talk about in this video because it would just be too long. But it's worked so well for me. It's worked so well for all my friends I've used overseas talent. They won't go back. And I've just seen so many big wins when it comes to starting to hire overseas talent. Let me erase this. And if you're wondering about pricing, guys, for example, Indonesia, you can get, let's say, a great full-time video editor, right? That's going to cost you maybe $800 to $1,200 per month full-time, 40 hours per week, and you get someone's full dedication, full like efforts. I'm not the biggest fan of hiring part-time because they're split, they're not focused on you and your business. And yeah, think about it, $800 to $1,200 per month. That is, let's say, about $10,000 to $14,000 per year full-time. That is insanely lower than someone in these States who would probably cost I don't know, 60, 70, $80,000. And these people often have more experience. So it's not like there's only beginner people. There's a lot of very, very, very experienced workers from other countries, of course, and you can save a ton of money. So that's what I'll say about overseas talent and hiring. You guys should definitely do it. Okay, so next let's talk about tools. Okay, so I love tools. I sort of view tools as like leverage, right? You're paying 20 bucks, 30 bucks a month for a tool, whatever it is, and you should be getting a lot more return on investment for those tools. It's same thing as overseas talent, except it's a software or whatever, right? So this technically is a cost. So like we're increasing our expenditures kind of, but it could actually reduce expenditures by reducing other stuff from being spent, right? Like you might get a tool that makes it so that you only need 2 team members in this department rather than 4. So that saves you a lot of money compared to what the tool costs. I don't know, like, well, I can say too much about tools because every single business is going to be different, like what tools you need. But for what I'll say, okay, hold on. High level. Okay. Almost every single business I run and project or course or offer or whatever I run now, we create a high level account for that. And we basically run everything through that. High level is amazing. Yes, I'm one of their affiliates, but like I literally use it for all my businesses. Like I can't think of one business right now that doesn't use high level. So actually, yeah, I use them for all of my businesses. And this can save you a lot of money. And let me tell you guys why. It basically like combines a ton of tools, right? A ton of tools into one. So you basically pay one subscription fee. I think it's like $97 a month or something. And it replaces like 24 different tools. You literally just need high level. And this works for agencies. So we use it for Paired. We use it for my media company. Works with any type of business that has clients. So agencies, services. Yeah, I'd say those are probably like the 2 biggest types of businesses that should use high level. So that's all I'm going to say for tools, but you guys should be spending your time looking at different tools out there. There's always new tools popping up. You can probably always optimize the tools that you're using right now. So really consider like the types of tools you're using for your business because that is very, very important. Next is going to be organic marketing. So this kind of plays in with the client acquisition cost, right? Client acquisition costs, it's going to be a combination of paid ads, maybe any referral fees, affiliate fees, organic marketing, all that stuff. And the great thing is that organic marketing, it's essentially free. You're paying to create content, but once the content is created, it becomes like this free marketing machine. At Paired, we have a YouTube channel. We post a lot of educational videos for our target clients, and that brings in very consistent leads, at least like 1 lead per day, 1 or 2 leads per day, straight from YouTube. We pay to have the videos made and stuff. And after that, any leads essentially cost us $0, right? So this is something that's like something that every single business should do. Every single business should have strong organic marketing. And the sad thing is like a lot of people don't know how to make content well. They don't do this. And I think one reason they don't do this because of course, creating content, it can be uncomfortable. Either you have to be on camera, you have to hire someone. There's a lot of moving parts to it. The other thing is you might not see ROI at the very start, right? It takes time to build a social media following. And so people, they want fast results. That's why they do paid ads. You throw X dollars in, maybe you'll make X plus 20%, 50%, whatever, right? Organic marketing, though, it is such a long-term play. Long-term play. And so this is like what you guys should be doing for your business. YouTube, if you can make educational content targeted towards your ideal client, that is amazing. A lot of how-tos, tutorials, reviews, comparisons, whatever. Completely depends on your business type. It is really hot in here. What else can you do? Short form, right? This is a great way to get people to your long form. Trust is really built in long form YouTube. Short form can acquire new eyeballs and send people that may be interested to your YouTube, where they'll convert into your client there. So short form, long form play. It's going to make a massive difference on your business. I have a service called Done For You YouTube. We actually help business owners like run their entire channel. So we can basically handle everything for you, replace your entire like organic marketing team. We just take a monthly retainer and the setup fee. So if you guys are interested in that, I'll also have a link to that. But yeah, YouTube, guys, fantastic way to generate leads and to lower your client acquisition cost. Highly, highly recommend investing some of your resources into this. Okay. So next, let's talk about, office space. I'm a huge believer that a business does not need to have an office these days. Some businesses like sales might be better with an office, right? But you don't need it. And this saves on the rental and like utilities, manpower, cleaning, like equipment. What else? Food. And I think remote work is the future. You can attract a lot better quality talent if you don't require them to come into the office. So like consider this, if you're trying to like build an office space and stuff, if you want that type of lifestyle and business, then sure, you'll just need to pay money for that, right? But if you don't want to go into an office every day, if you want to just work from home or from laptop, wherever, just know that you don't need an office space, and that's going to save you a lot of money, right? Not having that desire is actually really, really, really solid. And then let's also talk about SOPs. Okay, you need to have SOPs and you need to have systems for your business. That's one reason why I think like, let's see, before your business is an actual business, it's sort of like a job. And once you start creating SOPs, so they're going to be like Word docs. You could do Loom videos. You can do like PDFs. So basically you want your business to be able to run without your input. And once you start building a team and all that stuff, like you need all these documents to make sure that everyone's doing their job properly. That way you can replicate it, grow it, and basically scale the business. Without this, scaling is impossible. So I encourage you guys, if you want to make your business more efficient, have higher margins, you need a really clear like system for all of your team members. And you need to really prioritize creating these SOPs, standard operating procedures. Doesn't matter if it's a Google Doc or a Loom or PDF, whatever it is, you need some way to like train your team, and they should be able to reference these SOPs as they are doing their work so that there's the standard of output, right? Things are not all over the place. Very, very important. And this is just going to make your business more efficient. It's going to make them more efficient, your team members more efficient, reduce your payroll for output or per output. And yeah, this is just like basic business 101. So this has been instrumental in like the growth of my businesses over the last years. We are very, very strong on creating these systems and SOPs. Last thing I want to talk about is tax strategy. What can we talk about tax? Okay, so obviously tax is one of your biggest expenses along with payroll. Far too few people spend time doing research on tax strategy. And it sort of blows my mind because it is such a big expense for most people that you'd think they'd spend at least, 5% of their time on tax strategy. I also don't spend that much time on tax strategy, but I definitely spend more than most people. And you guys should know that there's so many different things you can do to lower your taxes within your business, right? Like you want to think about your business entity structure. Like, is my business actually structured correctly? LLC, S Corp, C Corp? Do I want to have multiple business entities? Maybe one paying to a management company. C Corps, right? They're taxed way differently than LLCs and S Corps. Yeah, you want to consult with a tax professional. You can also use ChatGPT for this. This is what I do. I create a new project in ChatGPT. I call it my money person, right? Or my tax strategist. And I write a huge paragraph of context. My net worth, businesses, how much they're making, everything about them, expenses, all that stuff. And so it has a very good idea of like what or who you are and what your businesses are. Then you can basically consult with it. And this can really save you a lot of time and money. I won't say like just do exactly what ChatGPT tells you to do. Instead, you need someone to actually help you do those things, right? ChatGPT can help you with the info and with like the direction, but you still need someone to actually carry out those things, right? If let's say you want to create a C Corp management company, you still need someone to do that for you. Yeah, I guess you could do it yourself, but you really want to make sure all this is done correctly. So you should have some type of person you can go to for the actual action. Equipment. Like I said, I love buying things that make me more money. And when you buy something, it also lowers your tax liability for that year, helps reduce your net income, which is really great. You can look into different types of equipment. Some of them, accelerate depreciation, all that stuff. So I like to buy a lot of equipment that I think will help my business make more money. What other things with tax strategy can we talk about? Probably get a strategist, right? The tax strategist is usually different than your CPA. Some CPAs can do some tax strategy, but they're usually not the best. And you want a tax strategist that's, is not too traditional. That's what I'll say. Someone that is a little bit more risky. Because a very traditional tax strategist is for sure going to cost you money and you're not going to be taking some deductions that you should take. Okay, so that's all I'm going to say about tax strategy. And yeah, this whole business was talking about how to actually increase your business profit margins. The biggest things, you guys, are going to be your payroll. That's what's really helped me create my high profit margin businesses. And I will say, like, if a substantial amount of the work done in my businesses was not for expanding in new projects and things that aren't making money, my profit margins would be much, much, much higher. The reason it's not in the 80-90% is because we're building a bunch of different stuff that is not generating money yet. And the only reason why I'm able to afford to take these risks and build these new projects, try these new things, is because I do have overseas talent. So that's been absolutely instrumental. And yeah, building a business, of course, it's not just about money. It's not just about profit margins, but these are some of the optimizations that I think you guys should really consider. And these are the ones that have helped me personally out, right? Yeah, that's it for this video. Hopefully you guys got some value from it. Give it a like, subscribe, and see you guys in the next one.